Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm sorry I'm late. I I was in Tennessee, better part of last of this week at a class seminar, and I scheduled it for 9:30 this morning. And then when I got back here to Indy yesterday, I looked and it was scheduled for 10:30, so the time change was different. So, anyways, long story short, so I got up this morning, I don't know, early actually, and started goofing around, and then just lost track of time. So, anyway, so I'm here. Let's talk. We're going to go into some different deals, a couple of deals that we've got going on. But first, I guess I'll talk about a little bit about what happened this week. So this week I went to a seminar down in St. Louis, REI Black Book. They have a really, really good product. I'm really impressed with it. I looked at it about 5+ years ago, and it was not my favorite product. And so anyway, so I didn't really even look at it, but I got a friend of mine. She's in Clarksville, Tennessee. And she's been after me for a while now to mess with it. So anyway, I went down to a class with them. It was actually about private lending. And then while I was there, I started harassing them about their CRM software and came up with some solutions for making me more deals. I can hit up, it's pretty specialized, but hit up a lot of wholesalers pretty quickly. So anyways, I learned a lot this weekend. Or this week, and then did a drive back yesterday, and did a lot of talking. I rode down with a couple investors from here in Indy, and then we rode back together. So we had some good discussions yesterday, talking about tax sales, tax liens, because it's a lot of work to do tax sale. Plus, there's a lot of time frames involved in that stuff. So anyway, let's kind of get into it, shall we? Couple of deals I got going on. All right, so let's do some scopes of work here, and then we'll kind of run through the numbers. I'm going to pull these up. I'm running a little behind because I didn't realize it was after 10:30. Let me pull up some inspection videos. I wanted to go through a video like as we did it, but I normally do. I do a scope of work, and then I show you the video, and then we run the numbers on it, and then I was going to show you an after, after we did it, and then maybe look at the numbers of whether we were on budget or not. Because most of the time we're pretty close to budget. Now occasionally we get surprised and we get something like, when you go into a house, and you guys have seen some of the videos, hopefully, we go into a house and there's a ton of trash there. You really can't analyze the flooring. So, a lot of times I'll write down there flooring ? And then maybe I'll write in an estimate of what I think it'll cost to repair or replace. And we recently got a new guy who does carpet cleaning. And I'm not a fan of carpets, but if it's already there, then we try and use it and abuse it as long as we can. And so my new guy is pretty doggone good at A, cleaning them, and B, doing minor repairs as needed. So we're still trying to get used to working with that stuff. And so I'm sending him over on occasional jobs and saying, hey, do you think these carpets are savable or not? And so anyway, so the jury's still out on that. So, but anyway, we try and keep our numbers pretty close to what we budgeted. Usually we're within 5 or 10% of those numbers. Occasionally we get surprises. Water heaters are bad that we didn't realize were bad, or sewer lines are shot that we didn't realize were shot. Stuff like that. I mean, that's one thing. Sewer lines. If a house has been vacant for a long time, then those tend to fill up with crud and sediment and stuff like that. And they have problems with tree roots and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, do you spend the $300 to have a scope on a sewer line, or do you, chance it, And a lot of times what you run into is you start using it when you're rehabbing the house, and then all of a sudden, it works fine during that portion because your contractors really aren't using and abusing it, right? They're flushing the toilet occasionally, they're, washing a brush out or whatever, but they're not using it and abusing it like a normal person does when they live in a house. So a lot of times we don't even know for a month or 2 months that we've got sewer line issues after a tenant moves in. We try to be expedient and fix those things as quickly as possible, but they're not cheap. So anyway, it's kind of do you spend the $300 on a sewer scope, or do you run with it, and then save that money for if you have to replace the line. I mean, it's a catch-22. Anyway, so let's look and see here. We've got a couple. I want to do. This is actually an older video. I want to do. I'm going to do a duplex. One of our clients has, and she had a bunch of vacancies. She kind of got messed up in a. She bought a bunch of properties that were supposedly turnkey, and then they ended up having a lot of issues and a lot of vacancies real quick. And so she just came through and she kind of gave us a list of, I want you to do them in this order, triaged it, right? She's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is pretty far down on her list. And she just hit us up. We got her list of stuff she wanted done in 2019. And now she's like, well, okay, now I want to add some more properties in and get those started ASAP. And I don't know if I've got multiple videos or not of this. It's definitely a okay, I do. All right, so let's run this. These are from a while back, but let's run through some of these, and I'm gonna put my headphones on so I can hear what's going on. Let me see if anybody's logged into chat. Frank, baby. Wow, intro. Thanks, man. All right, so let's do. Watch some videos, shall we? So this one.
1737. We've just got a little bit of snow on it. The top section looks like it's in pretty good shape. The side's a little damaged. Nothing significant. Side of the house, no screens in any of the windows.
Okay, so you kind of see, I'm going to show you this real quick. Let me see if I can pause it in time. See how they got wood on the inside of this window, and that's also a storm window on the exterior. So this window's not removable anyway, so there's no screens there. But at first I thought when I saw that wood that it might have been like what we do with the little tack strips. They're about an inch wide and they're a 3/4 inch by half of or a quarter of an inch thick, and then we just we put the screen underneath it, run it taut, and we tack it in. It's kind of an inexpensive screen instead of spending, I forget even how much they are, but they're like $6 to $12 for the frame, and then screen materials. So you probably get like $10 or $15 into each screen, and then that doesn't include the time it takes to make the screens and spline them and whatnot. Anyway, so this is kind of a newer window here.
Windows are all intact though, except for one in the back, but we'll get to that in a moment. Front porch area, good shape. Front window, good shape, still no screen. Use some attention.
Oh, need to clean up.
Living room. Moderate drywall damage. All lights already been painted, except for some flaking areas. So I'd recommend patch and repaint of this room. So it looks like there is some water behind the walls. This whole wall will need to be stripped. That wall as well. Carpet. We've got some pretty significant debris. I can see the carpet looks like it'll be cleanable. There's some heavy staining over here. Looks like candle wax. So clean carpet, repaint room, address water damage behind paint. Ceiling is in good shape. Windows are in good shape. Heavy debris removal. Basement stairwell. Some significant drywall damage.
The big nasty, he does it first. This was a guy who used to work with us, Derek. He did an awesome job. But He likes to do the big nasty first, which
Water
is going
heater
down in the basement.
appears to be intact and functional. Furnace, same situation. There is another furnace down here that's not doing. Oh, it's not doing anything. There is a water line that's disconnected from the water heater, so we may need to address that. The staircase is hazardous. Basement door has some cracks. Needs to be painted. Dining room, again, heavy debris removal. Windows are intact from the outside. Walls have some heavy cracking, some water damage spotting. Would recommend stripping and repainting.
Spindles are all there on the staircase. That's good.
Carpet, what I can see appears to be cleanable. I'm not sure that's going to need to be replaced. There is some staining. Let's try to clean it first.
Heavy patch and paint.
Kitchen, paint is going to need to be redone. We have some significant holes in the drywall.
Dog damage right there.
Floors are coming up, so we will need to replace floors.
Okay.
There's quite a stench in here.
See right there. Look at this. Let me back up a little bit.
Here.
Now, I don't think that the camera is playing Mickey Mouse games with us, but see how the floor kind of is on level back here? So it comes down, and then all of a sudden it goes up. And the reason I say I don't think it's the camera is because as the camera shifts, it's still there, right? So we'll have to check and see what's going on. You know, and when you're jacking up floors, you know, in the basement or whatever, you run into issues because you may level this out, but you may cause big cracks in the wall. So you got to be real, you know, sensitive to that when you're working on these things. You don't want to cause a lot of other problems. You know, this thing has shifted over time. And so, you know, a lot of times you just end up going in and stabilizing it. So you're making it to where it doesn't get worse, but you don't really end up fixing it. And a lot of people will say, well, you know, aren't a lot of people going to be like, I don't want to rent this place because it seems like it's fallen in on itself. And then what we find is in a lot of cases, it's not an issue. You know, you'll get some people that are nervous about it, but, you know, most people are not. So anyway, so that's just a thought process. Well, this is good here. The washer dryer hookups are here in the kitchen. So there's no real need for anybody to go down into the basement. So, you know, we can basically, you know, we want to make sure that the stairs going down, because earlier he said something about the stairs. We want to make sure they're safe and secure, but at the same time, we don't need to go hog wild trying to make sure that somebody can go up and down daily.
We'll need to, one side is secure, the other side we will need to refasten that. Bare drywall or exposed drywall underneath the electrical box will need to be addressed. There is broken glass outside of this window, but the window itself appears to be intact. So there may not be any broken windows after all. This is on the second floor. Rear door needs to be painted.
Got some minor siding issues here.
Some paint up there on the
a little bit of paint,
window.
scrape paint on the exterior, which obviously we're into the winter time, so most days you're lucky if it gets above 40. So we won't be able to do a lot of painting or anything. We'll have to wait till the spring.
Rear area, yard has been destroyed for parking. Kitchen does have a significant hump in it.
That's what he's talking about, the hump.
3 feet from the southern wall. It runs east and west. We will need to pull up these floors and take a look at that. There are a couple of sag spots as well. Again, more drywall damage. lots of evidence of bugs, mice, everything.
So one thing here that is that these cabinets are unfinished. So what they just basically bought them at wherever, and they installed them, and then didn't put any finish on them. So you're seeing staining here and staining here, and so it's gonna be, and they're staining over here. So they just were never. So these stains are sealed into the wood now. I mean, I don't think we'll probably be able to get those out. We could try sanding them off, and hopefully they come off. Hopefully they're just superficial. But when you have porous wood, then porous wood is going to soak up whatever goes out or comes through. So if you get grease from hands or whatever, that's going to soak into the wood. So what we'll probably end up doing is we'll just end up painting these cabinets. We'll paint them a white or whatever with a semi-gloss so that they're scrubbable. Yeah, look at all that staining. Good Lord. Look at all the mouse and rat feces. Isn't that nice? Ooh, look, there's some flowers. Saltwater taffy. Anybody want some saltwater taffy? That stuff sits a while, right? Kind of like Twinkies. It's got a good long shelf life. There was no fridge in that house.
Some of these water spots. The stairwell walls are in pretty good shape. They've been
10-year shelf life on those
before.
saltwater taffy?
A little bit roughness here and there, but overall it's fine. Banister will need to be repainted at some point. Paint is flaking off of it. Stairwell carpet is in good shape. First bedroom.
Now these houses have sat for a while since we filmed these videos, so I have a little bit of concerns that we'll go into these, and we've had a real bad problem this year with squatters. We try and secure the property as best we can, but we still get. Sometimes we get them though. They're just, they want in, and the neighbors don't care.
Window in good shape as well. Carpet in here. It's pretty nice. Looks like someone vacuumed it recently.
Pretty nice.
Walls do have some soiling to them, so we'll need to do some repainting in here. I would recommend just going ahead and repaint the whole room. Ceiling looks good.
Yeah, so I mean every room he's walked into, even this one, he's like, we need to repaint.
Closet door looks good. Bedroom door, touch-ups. Do have one broken window so far, second story, outer pane. Does run the entire length of the top sash, so it will need to be replaced. Second bedroom.
Repaint.
Look, carpet again looks to be in pretty good shape. Light soiling, nothing significant.
How dare they, Tom Brady? What the heck, man?
Doors in
We
good
should have
shape.
gotten a huge
Walls
judgment just because of that.
in good shape as well.
What do you think, Frank? Huh? Can we hate Brady here?
Bedroom door will need to be repainted. It's got some pink undertones coming through and some touch-up spots that are necessary. There's gash here.
Again, you're like me, and Frank, you're not a big football fan.
We do have some drywall damage here that will need to be taken care of. The door stopper installed. Overall, patch, repaint, 2 walls, replace window and hallway. Carpet needs to be cleaned. Ceiling is in good shape.
Hate is in style.
Bonus room here.
Yes, I try and teach my kids that
Walls
we
will
don't
need
say
to be
hate,
painted.
but you know, comes out in my everyday life. Right? Yeah.
Window
These
looks
are older
alright.
windows. It always makes me nervous.
Window looks
But
alright.
these have exterior storm windows, so that should help a lot. I guess that's a good discussion. Do you do with these older windows? Do you put in storm windows? Because you can buy a storm window for about $80, get them installed for about $75 50 to 75 a piece.
Yeah, definitely repaint the whole room.
So you're into them for 150, 200, but you could replace the window with double pane for 300. So what's a better option on that stuff?
Bathroom it's quite a smell. Floor, pick this up. Does some sloping. Kind of rises on the left end of the frame, slopes forward and towards the right, towards the vanity from my perspective here. Toilet is secure.
Got a caulk job there. Bathroom.
Looks like it's good.
Hey, Pantene! Woohoo!
Bathtub will need to be replaced. It's got chipping paint, chipping finish. Surround we're going to need to replace, which is just a laminate. But yeah, let's go ahead and put a new surround in this area.
So that brings up an interesting discussion, because a lot of bathrooms get these windows in here, and these things are maintenance nightmares. Because the water, the high moisture, the high humidity in bathrooms, they cause this stuff to all rot out, right? And so if we're already replacing the tub and the surround, then maybe we're better off just enclosing this window and just making it solid, you know, because we have to caulk around these windows, we have to maintain these windows, and blah, 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 blah. So this is a good case for when we come in and we replace the tub and the surround, then we will enclose this window. And so, you know, we may have to do some siding work on the exterior to kind of phase it in so it looks like it was always that way. Sometimes people will darken the windows, and then they will just, you know, put the tubs over top of the whatchamacallit. Because a lot of times, depending on the siding or whatever, it can cost you a lot of money just to cover up the siding on the house. Does that make sense? So, I mean, I guess it's kind of a catch-22. Yes, we need to add a vented fan. But that's not going to solve the problem with moisture getting up in here. I mean, to some extent it will, but it won't always do that. All right, let's see here. Should I turn it up to 60? I guess I had it at 40.
Windows intact.
It's intact.
Replace floors in bathroom. Clean vanity. Paint walls due to water damage. And we do need to address this floor situation. There's quite a slope. Staining back there. Staining over here.
All right, so that's one of the units. I did want to go back because I was babbling. Let me see if I can get this thing to fire up. This little room here, it looks like it just needs paint.
Overall,
Not that bedroom, this one.
bonus room here. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. Walls will need to be repainted. Window looks alright. Window looks alright.
Okay, so that kind of clarifies that for me. Let me pull up this other one we've got. We're going to do the other side of this unit.
It's in okay condition.
Alright, so we're over here.
Front deck's in okay condition. Screen is missing from the front window. Mailbox needs to be reattached. Front door is currently in-op, barricaded from the inside. The door frame is just completely destroyed on the inside, so it can't latch.
Okay, so I'm going to close out some of this stuff real quick. Give me a new window here. I got a couple of statements that I got to do already. So we're going to do 1739. Some mold growing here on the side. So the house needed a pressure wash anyways. Where's that glass coming from?
Some siding that's, some window trim up there needs to be reattached. All windows need to have their trim painted due to flaking.
Oh, this one's got a refrigerator. Who wants to open it after
Rear door is in good condition. Do some drywall repair in the kitchen. Breaker box looks alright. This house has quite a stench to it. Kitchen's definitely going to be painted. Heavy drywall repair. Got ceiling repair here as well. We've got water damage present. Heavy debris removal. Replace floors. Paint room. Replace countertops. Cabinet doors are going to need to be replaced. At least the lower ones. That cabinet doesn't have a bottom.
So this house is a good candidate for just replacing all the cabinets. I mean, look, this one's drawers missing, drawers missing. I don't even know what that's all about. Looks like just staining. This one here, the cabinet, the upper cabinet here is missing the bottom cabinet, or bottom, whatever you want to call it, shelf. Let's see what the inside of the sink looks like.
One of the faces is over there. It'll need to be reattached. The other one seems to be missing.
No, he didn't even show us. I'm gonna say it's a real good
Replace
candidate.
floors, drywall work, heavy drywall work, paint entire room, paint ceiling, assess water damage, replace cabinets, replace countertop.
So that's a good question. Like, how much do you budget for kitchen cabinets? So I typically budget between $150 and $200 per linear foot. So if you got 8 linear feet of cabinet, which is about what we've got there, so that will include both uppers and lowers, countertop, sink, etc. So between $150 and $200 is what I would budget per linear foot. So if it's 8 feet, you're looking at probably $1,600 to replace the cabinets in there.
Dining room, paint walls. Quite a bulge situation here. Replace carpet. Windows appear to be in okay shape.
Did he say replace the carpet?
Paint banister. Windows appear to be in okay shape. Windows appear to be in okay shape. Replace carpet.
He did say replace the carpet. So
Windows
probably
appear to be
going
in
to have
okay
to replace the flooring throughout.
Paint banister.
See how we're missing some time?
2 support rods. Heavy debris removal. Living room.
Oh, free TV.
Paint walls. Ceiling's got a little bit of off color, or discoloration I should say. Looks like there might be some water damage there as well.
So this is a pretty typical.
Mild drywall repair in this room.
We've got duplexes in Indy, and when they're ever this kind of style, they kind of all follow the kind of same pattern. So there shouldn't be any plumbing up above this ceiling. So I'm not sure where that water damage came from.
You can see the door frame is just toast. And there is something on the ceiling. Yeah, replace carpet, repaint walls, mild drywall repair, replace door frame, paint ceiling, assess water damage issue.
Oh, we're going to the big nasty. This one I don't think had washer dryer hookups in the kitchen like the other one did. Jeez, it's just so much trash in the
Water heater's present, hooked up. Furnace also present and hooked up. Everything's good there. There are spares down here too.
Sometimes you get guys that'll just go in and they'll yank the old furnace and just leave it there. They don't want to haul it out. Maybe they give a better price, I don't know. It's just a mess for the rest of us to clean up.
Stairwell needs to be painted. We have another bulge in the wall here.
So these are pretty typically like 1, 2, 3
Stairwell
rooms
carpet needs to be
downstairs.
replaced.
4, 5, like 6 rooms basically. So I'm thinking like 2 bedrooms up here. I guess there's a bathroom and then whatchamacallit, so there's probably like
First
7
bedroom.
rooms total on each side.
Door handle needs to be replaced. Walls need to be painted.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful walls. Those are some nice blinds there. They've been stripped of
Those
all their
blinds are behind.
verticals. Or horizontals.
We got some drywall repair to do on this closet area. This feels like there's no substance to it at all.
They built in a little closet
Those
area.
are there.
That's an idea, I guess. Trying to think of how you could convert this into a large closet, right? Because there's a window here, right? So where are you going to run your closet rod? You can't run it into here. That's just not going to work. And I doubt there's enough room here for you to run a closet rod across. And then, of course, it's going to be in front of this windowsill. So how would you turn this into a closet? Do you run them this way? Maybe. But then you got to walk through them to get to them. I mean, it's just kind of a difficult situation. But what I was just thinking is maybe you put up like 12 inches or 18 inches away from the window, you put in a fake wall going up, half wall coming like here over, and then you can run a rod from one side to the other, and then they can do hang their closets or their whatever, hang clothes.
Lower sash on the rear of the house there.
Oh, look, he's got a mirror in the window looking at him.
Carpet needs to be replaced.
I can't even look up. It needs to be replaced. Look at that big old hole in the wall.
Drywall
Oh, that's
back
some
here.
nice there. Drywall work. Plaster.
Yeah, hold on,
We
let's
just
do
cut out the plaster and put in drywall and then patch it around the edges. Good old junk.
that.
Tough
Sure.
surface.
Plumbing looks good. Floor is in pretty good shape. Walls need to be repainted. There's quite a bit of excrement to remove out of the toilet and bathtub.
And bathtub? So we had squatters.
Recommend respirators.
Recommend a respirator. Those blinds are nice, aren't they? Pay extra for those blinds.
That's a new window. Second bedroom. Carpet needs to be replaced. Door needs to be replaced.
You could hear
Walls
it
need to be
rattling
painted.
if you even turned it.
They've got wood paneling. So it's coming apart.
Hey, there's a blind we don't need to replace. We better destroy it because we don't want to spoil anybody.
We do have some mess up here.
So typically when I see like damage up here, up high, this looks like water damage because you can see how the water's been kind of dripping down here. So this tells me that we may have some roof issues. So we'll need to look at the roof on this house. See how it's
previous
kind of
water
getting
damage.
crusty here? That means we got an active water leak. Ah, so that could be where our, so all right, so let's look at something here a second. Here.
Looks like some previous water damage.
Okay, so we're gonna pause this right there. This thing here that juts out is probably the flue, and so there's probably active leaks up there. So that might explain why we've got some water damage down on the room below on the ceiling, because water's been dripping down, and then it goes for the path of least resistance. So you can have weird water stains and not really understand what's going on. So we would have to go up and assess the roof, and then while we're there, I'm going to assume we're going to find that we need to redo some flashings.
Closet door, looks like it's alright. Closet looks okay. Paint room, replace carpet, address ceiling issue. Replace door.
What are those? Turbios or something? I don't know what the heck those are. Get us some good breakfast going on. All right, so let's run numbers. So we just did this one. So the front door is inoperable and replace. Our front door is going to cost you about 130 bucks, 150 bucks, probably $100 to install. Repair or replace several screens. Typically do that's 250-ish. Exterior pressure wash, so that can be 250. We won't be able to really do that until the spring. Clean out, trash out, throughout. There's a ton of stuff in the basement. So I am going to say that this is probably going to be 750-ish. Now remember, we're just talking this one side, right? Repaint throughout. So again, I think we figured that was about 7 rooms, right? Because we've got the 3 rooms on the main floor. We've got the stairwell going up, and then the little mini hallway. So that's 4. We've got the 2 bedrooms. That's 5 and 6, and then we've got a bathroom and then a little bonus room or closet. Let's call that one more. So it's 7. So we've got heavy repair to do throughout. Now let me whip up my favorite calculator. So, I mean, I'm going to say it's like 150 a room, right? 7 times 150, it's 1,050. But actually, I mean, we got some heavy patch in there, so I'm going to add in an extra 150 bucks for repainting and heavy patching. So it's about 1,200 bucks there in that. The kitchen ceiling repair and fix leaks from bathroom, I'm going to say it's about 250. By the time they open up the ceiling, they fix whatever is leaking upstairs, they seal it back up, and then they, get it ready for paint again. Replace the cabinets in the kitchen. I think we already said we thought that was about 1,600. Now this house, I don't think this one had, do I have the video open still? No, I don't. Give me a second here.
This is 1
All right.
Breaker box looks alright.
Also
This house has.
So there's no washer dryer hookups in this kitchen. So do we run it upstairs? I would say yes, because there's a little bit of room in here to do that.
Breaker box looks
electrical
alright.
boxes up here. But we've got room up here to put the washer and dryer up here too.
This house has quite a stench to it.
Yeah, it's the upstairs. So, all right. So let's put that in our notes, shall we? I'm gonna say 500, but I doubt it's that much. So we'll just kind of budget for that. Replace flooring throughout. Oh, I got to get to my screen and figure out how much square footage this thing is. Give me a second here. Let's go to the rest of this stuff. Replace stair rail tines. So we're probably going to have 150-ish bucks into that. Heavy patching throughout. Wait, did I already put this in here? Repaint, heavy patch and paint throughout. Yep, so I already did it up above. So we'll just rechange this because I like the description better on this one. Repair, replace interior doors as needed. So I'm going to say there was like 2 or 3 that he quoted in the video that he was like, we need to replace those. So I'm going to guess that there's going to be a couple more. So we're going to go 250-ish on that. Assess the roof. Yeah, we'll just need to assess it. I don't know, because I would say that if we're assessing the roof, if we just need to do repair, I don't know. We'll just need to find out what that is. That could be expensive, could not be. Miscellaneous and final clean. You know, when they're in this rough a shape, then we're going to have issues. So I'm going to figure about $1,000 for miscellaneous, and then final clean is generally $250. But let's look up the flooring here. I was doing everything else. Helps when you can type in your password. Give me 2 seconds here, guys. Sorry. Come on. Let's switch over while we're waiting for this page to load. Let's switch over to the other one. Hold on a second here. Okay, page is up. Hold on. See if I can pull this up. Not liking me. Give me a minute here. All right, let's go to the other one real quick. So this one here, clear the brush around the side of the house. I'm gonna say we got like $250 in that. Repair, replace screens. I actually already figured that into the other one, so we'll just leave that one out of this one. Clear out the trash. Again, there's a ton of stuff in the basement on this house. So I'm gonna say it's about $750. What did I budget for the other one? Clean out trash throughout, $750. Okay, so we're on par. Heavy patch and paint throughout. Again, I'm going to say it's about $1,200 there. Service the furnace. That's going to probably run us about $150-ish. Maybe less, maybe more. Oh, I didn't put that over in the other one, did I? I saw the side hanging off of it. That's why I want to service it. Let's see here. Hold on. Repair water heater. Check water lines. I didn't get to see the stuff in the video, so I'm gonna put about $250 in there. Make sure we got good water lines, but it may be a little bit more than that. Kitchen and bath. Replace the flooring in those. So I would say that the kitchen is probably like 15 by 15. So what is that? Math is not my strong suit today. 225 times $3 a square foot, so it's like $675, and then we probably got $30 in square footage. Or I'm sorry, $90, another $100 for the flooring in a bathroom because it's about 30 square feet times 3. It's about 90. So you probably got like $775 for kitchen and bathroom. Repair windows as needed. There were several that were busted out. I'm gonna budget like $350, and that'll cover that. Should cover the whole building. Minor siding issues. I'm gonna say we got like $250 in minor siding issues. Scrape and paint. We're gonna do this in the springtime, so this is probably another $250-ish. But going up higher, maybe a little bit more. Let's do. Let's do $350. Minor foundation issue. See if we can stabilize. Now this one is going to be a little bit hinky. I don't know what we're going to deal with or whatever. The other side didn't seem to have the issues that this side did. So again, we probably need to make sure we run the gutters away from the house because that's a pretty typical thing. Because that's probably what caused our issues down here. So I'm going to say run gutters away from the house, and so that's probably, oops, $250-ish. We've probably got some minor repairs on that too. Minor foundation issues. Let's budget for $1,000. It'd probably be a lot less than that. Stove savable. We don't know if it is or not, but it did look like it was rather new, so we'll see. Door stoppers installed throughout. That's kind of a miscellaneous thing. Replace tub and surround. So tub costs you about $100. The plumbing for the tub costs you about another $100. There's $200. The surround is probably, let's say tub and surround is probably about $300. And then plumbing for it's another $100. That's $400. Then let's say it's installation of that. Let's say it's a couple $100 for that. So we got about $600. let's budget $750 just to be sure, because we're going to try and close off this window in that one. And again, there's a lot of stuff wrong with this house. I'm going to budget about miscellaneous of about $1,000 and a final clean of $250, right? All right, let me see if I can figure out where this house is. Hold on. It's not showing up on tax records because I don't evidently know the proper name for this address. Yeah, so hopefully I can figure this out. Oh, I was punching in the wrong address. That always helps, doesn't it, now? There we go. So it's about 1,100 square foot per side on this duplex. So on this other one, we're going to go back here. And this one was the one where we were going to replace the flooring throughout, right? So if there's 1,100 square feet of flooring in the house, we're going to figure it's probably going to cost us about $3,300 for flooring. All right, so let's do some math and add this bad boy up. 250 plus 250 plus 250 plus 750 plus 250 plus 1,600 plus 500 plus 3,300 plus 150 plus 150 plus 1,200 plus 250 plus 1,000 plus 250. $10,150. Woohoo, pretty. Is that what I had? Yep, 10,150. All right, let's look at the other one. $250, $250, $750, $1,200, $150, $250, $775, $350, $250, $350, $1,000, $750, $1,000, $250. So $75, $75. So that's roughly the repair estimate on that one. So we've got about, between the two of them, I don't even know what that's all about. Between the two of them, we've got about almost $18,000 worth of repairs, and that's before our 20% management fee that we charge for managing this rehab. So there's probably $22,000, $21,000, $22,000 worth of work that needs to be done to these two units. So should we run the numbers? Let's run the numbers on this one. So each side of this is 2 bedrooms. So each side of this thing should rent for, now it depends on whether we have to pay for water or not, but let's say that each side of this rents for $550. So $1,100. We're going to figure 12% vacancy loss because it takes longer to find tenants for multifams in Indianapolis. 2 to 4 weeks for a single family, and it's more like 4 to 8 weeks for a multifamily. It's not for lack of applicants, it's lack of good applicants. So we're going to figure 12% on our vacancy rate. Our average repairs, because we don't know anything about this house, we're going to put in 10%. Even after all our rehab, we're going to put in 10%. Accounting and legal, let's just bump that up to 3. And then property management is 10%, right? Taxes on this property are blah 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 blah. $1,508 a half, or I'm sorry, a year. $1,508 a year. Property insurance on this thing should be about $600, $550. So our cash flow on this house is about $543.50 a month. So that's pretty decent, right? Oh, somebody's ringing me. So let's put the let me put my phone on do not disturb. So I don't get that. I always forget that, don't I? So 543.50. So what do we run the numbers on this? Let's say these properties are going for $65,000. So let's say we bought this house at $45,000, right? And then we put, let's put $43,000. And we're going to renovate it for, what did we say? $22,275. Was that what it was? I can't remember. $21,270. Ooh, $21,270. I'm trying to short us. Probably got $1,000 in closing costs. So I'm going to throw in the assessed land value. We'll talk a little bit about that real quick. Assessed land value is $2,600. Lots of money there. And the reason I'm putting this in is for tax purposes. All right, so let's say you've got a private lender, right? Somebody who's going to make you a loan on this property, make some money off of it without all the hassles of having to deal with the repairs and rehab and the tenants and all that, toilets and all that good stuff. So let's say your friend gives you 20 years and they give you an interest rate of 8%, right? So you're paying 20 years, 8%. Private lender's going to make some money off this deal. I work with a lot of private lenders, so works out nicely. So anyway, 20 years, 8%. So that makes our payment. Why are we not showing the mortgage payments yet? Oh, because I didn't put in our. Let's put in that they give you 80% of the loan, right? Private lender typically is only all in for 65%. Well, let's do 80% just to be typical on this, or not typical, but we'll do a loan on it. So we're going to get a loan for about $52,216, 20 years, 8% interest. That makes your mortgage payment $436.76, $106 cash flow. So that makes our numbers a little funky, right? So, but it's about a 10% return on your investment, right? Your cash on cash is 9.81. Cash on cash is based off of how much money you've got into the property versus your return. So you're getting about almost a 10% return on this property. This one here, cap rate, is if you paid all cash and you did not have a loan on the property. So multifams, I don't think I would want to be $100 a month cash flow because there's just too many. The market in Indianapolis is such that the multifams, the price difference between a multifam and a single family is not that big, about $100 a month, $100 to $150 a month. So a lot of people who go into multifams, they find out that they can spend an extra $100 a month, and they can go into a single family. They don't have neighbors, they don't have, they have a lot more control, so that's what they do. They switch it up. So you get tenants that move out a lot more often in these houses. So I don't know if I would necessarily get a loan. Let's say we did a traditional loan through a traditional lender. And again, they're about 20. And let's say you get a 5% interest rate. I mean, that brings our cash flow up to $200 a month, which is a lot better. So that might be something that we consider doing. Or pay cash and just get the $543.50 a month, right? But I typically try and be in for a lot less than the $65,000 price. Total basis and property $65,000. So my numbers are usually a lot better because there's just a lot more hassles that go with these multifams. I know a lot of people are in love with the idea of I own an apartment building, but in practice, I don't think that it's as good of an idea. You really need to get your numbers right in order to make money on these multifams. So anyway, so that kind of gives us where we're at, right? It's about a 10% return cap rate wise. If you did a traditional lender, 20 years, 5% interest rate, they're not going to do 80%. They're going to do like 75% typically. So you'd be at about a 16% cap rate. So that's not horrible, but again, your cash flow is $220 a month. So you need to make sure you got some reserves there. So anyway, so that's kind of basically where we're at on this. So hopefully that's helpful. Click the like, click the subscribe, click the little bell icon. I'm going to try and do these about once a week. Next week I'm hoping to be a little bit more prepared. I just got back late last night from the seminar, so I didn't have time to prepare or didn't want to, whatever. Excuses are awesome, right? Anyways, so next week hopefully I'll do a before and after. I'll kind of run through the videos that we had to assess it, and then I'll show you how on budget we were and what the property looked like after we were done. So anyways, all right guys, click the like, click the subscribe. You have any questions, throw them down in the comments. Be happy to answer them or cover them in the next videos or whatever. All right, thank you guys, appreciate it. Thanks Frank, baby.